In 1887 Sussex, a 9-year-old boy had already hospitalized 6 governesses and driven 4 tutors to quit. The Duke's son, Harris Spencer, was deemed fundamentally defective, a monster locked in the east wing of Lordsville Manor, subjected to ice baths, leather restraints, and isolation in darkness. Nothing worked. Then from a Boston convent came Sister Lily Davidson, age 26, in her black habit with a rosary clicking against stone floors. She heard his screams through the locked door, raw, animal, full of unbearable rage. Servants warned, "Don't go near him, sister, he's beyond salvation." But Lily knelt outside that door and whispered through the keyhole, "I know you're angry. I was angry too, and I'm not leaving." Inside, the screaming stopped. Because here's what no one knew. The virgin nun sent to save the Duke's son was no virgin at all, and the secret she carried would either redeem them both or destroy everything. Hello everyone! Before we start, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, like the video and share with loved ones, and tell me in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is there. That way YouTube will keep showing you stories just like this one. Now, let's begin. November 1887, Lordsville Manor's East Wing held a door reinforced with iron bars, and behind it 9-year-old Harris Spencer destroyed his 6th room that month. Broken furniture littered the floor. His knuckles bled from pounding stone walls. An empty laudanum bottle rolled in the corner. Even sedatives couldn't quiet the rage that consumed him. 6 governesses had been hospitalized, 1 left with a broken arm. 4 tutors quit within days, citing the boy as unteachable, possibly demonic. The servants whispered what everyone believed: the boy had killed his mother. 3 months earlier, Lady Catherine Spencer had jumped from the manor's tower. Harris had been the first to find her body in the courtyard below, her blood pooling on the cobblestones while servants screamed. Since that November morning, he'd heard their whispers everywhere. The boy drove her to it. She couldn't bear raising such a creature. His father, Duke Stephen Newsom, 35, and drowning in guilt and brandy, avoided the East Wing entirely. He couldn't look at his son without seeing Catherine's broken body, without hearing her final words to him the night before. "You've destroyed me, Stephen. I hope you remember this when you look at our son." Dr. Thornton prescribed Victorian cures: ice baths to shock the system, leather restraints to prevent self-harm, isolation and darkness to calm the nerves. Each treatment made Harris worse. The rage grew until it consumed everything, until he couldn't remember what it felt like to not be a monster. The housekeeper, Mrs. Pemberton, told servants matter-of-factly, "The boy is fundamentally defective. His Grace should institutionalize him before he hurt someone else." Inside his locked room, Harris's internal voice echoed the same truth over and over. "Mother left because I'm a monster. Father can't look at me. Everyone's right. I should disappear." Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, in Boston, Sister Lily Davidson stood in St. Catherine's Convent receiving a summons from Mother Superior. At 26, she was beautiful but haunted, taking communion with trembling hands, her rosary worn smooth from anxious prayer. 5 years earlier, at 19, Lily had been delivering charity supplies to a warehouse when Thomas Hartwell, a wealthy merchant's son, cornered her. His assault had been interrupted by a dock worker, but the damage was done. Hartwell claimed she had tempted him. Boston society agreed. Good girls didn't end up in situations like that. The convent became her refuge, though not her calling. She'd taken vows to escape shame, not embrace faith. Mother Superior's assignment was simple. A duke in England needs a governess for his troubled son. 6 have refused. You're our last option. Lily couldn't refuse without revealing why, without admitting her past made her terrified of failing another damaged soul. So she accepted, privately thinking, maybe I can save a child since I couldn't save myself. She packed her habit, her rosary, and a hidden journal where she wrote unsent letters to the girl she used to be. Both were heading toward collision, Harris locked in rage and grief, Lily locked in shame and fear. Neither knew the other held the key to their survival. Lily arrived at Lordsville Manor at dusk, Sussex rain hammering against the carriage windows. The manor loomed gothic and forbidding, its windows dark except for a single light in the east wing.
Mrs. Pemberton's warning tour was brief and cold. East Wing is forbidding. The boy is dangerous. His Grace requests you maintain distance until Dr. Thornton approves contact. Distant screaming pierced the walls, raw animal sounds that made servants flinch. Lily's hands trembled, but she didn't ask to leave. That night, she approached the reinforced door despite explicit orders. Inside, Harris threw furniture against walls, wailing, "I want my mother! Bring her back!" Lily didn't knock, didn't announce herself. She simply sat on the cold stone floor outside the door, pulled her cloak tight, and waited. Hours passed. Midnight came. Servants retired to their quarters, shaking their heads at the mad American nun. She remained. At 2 a.m, she began reading aloud through the keyhole, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, her voice steady despite exhaustion. Day 2, Harris threw his chamber pot at the door. Urine seeped under the frame, pooling near Lily's skirt. She shifted slightly, continued reading without flinching. Day 3, silence from inside. Lily read anyway, her voice hoarse but persistent. Servants gossiped openly. "She's as mad as the boy. Give her 3 days before she quits like the others." Day 4, Lily arrived to find the door standing open, unlocked from inside. She entered slowly. The room was destroyed, furniture shattered, walls gouged, broken glass everywhere. Harris huddled in the corner, filthy and hollow-eyed, clutching his mother's locket like a lifeline. Lily sat 6 feet away, respecting his space. She didn't speak. Harris grabbed a heavy book and hurled it at her head. It struck her temple with a sickening crack. Blood trickled down her face. She didn't move, didn't cry out, didn't leave. Simply said, "Your mother loved you. That hasn't changed." Harris's face crumpled, the first tears in 9 months. "She left me. Everyone leaves." Lily's voice broke. "I know, and I'm so sorry, but I'm not leaving." She extended her hand, not forcing, just offering. 3 full minutes of silence. Harris stared at her outstretched palm, at the blood still dripping from her temple, at her unwavering gaze. His small hand slowly, trembling, reached out and grasped hers. Duke Stephen watched from the doorway, tears streaming down his face. First physical contact Harris had allowed since Catherine's death. A cathedral of silence, 2 damaged souls finding their first thread of connection. That night, Harris allowed Lily to help him bathe for the first time in weeks. She sang softly, an Irish lullaby her own mother had sung, and didn't ask questions. He fell asleep holding her hand. Duke Stephen found Lily in the hallway afterwards, exhausted and blood-stained. "How did you do that?" Lily's response was simple. "I didn't do anything. I just didn't look away."
Morning brought scrutiny. The Duke's solicitor, Mr. Pembroke, demanded a progress report in Stephen's study. "His Grace has spent £12,000 on treatments. What are your credentials, sister?" Lily admitted the truth. "None. I'm simply someone who won't abandon him." Pembroke turned to Stephen, incredulous. "This is reckless. She has no medical training, no references beyond the convent. You're risking the boy's life on sentiment." But Stephen had seen what Lily accomplished in 4 days. He dismissed Pembroke's objections. Harris woke that morning to find Lily reading in the corner. Panic seized him. "You're still here?" He tested her immediately, threw food across the room, screamed obscenities learned from stable boys, locked himself in the wardrobe. Lily sat outside the wardrobe, speaking calmly through the wood. "You can't make me hate you. I've tried that with myself. It doesn't work." Harris's muffled voice came back. "Why do you care?" "Because someone should have cared about me when I needed it. No one did. I won't do that to you." From his study window, Stephen watched Lily walk Harris through the garden, the boy's first time outside in months. His mistress, Judith O'Reilly, arrived and observed the scene with calculated interest. "You're allowing a nun to raise your son.
How deliciously scandalous! Stephen's response was cold. She's doing what I failed to do, giving him a reason to keep living. Judith's smile tightened. Don't forget our arrangement. Once this phase passes, we marry. Stephen didn't respond. For the first time, doubt about Judith crept into his mind. That night, Lily broke down in the chapel, praying to empty air. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a fraud in this habit. I took vows to hide, not serve. I'm no virgin nun. I'm a coward pretending to be holy. You're crying. Are you sad because of me? Harris stood in the doorway, having followed her. Lily was caught. No, darling, I'm sad because of me. Why? Because I'm not as good as everyone thinks I am. Me neither. Maybe that's okay. The Dowager Duchess arrived from London days later, demanding Harris be sent to a Swiss asylum. This American nun is unconventional. The boy is damaged goods. Catherine's madness runs in him. Stephen refused for the first time in his life. He's my son, not a problem to ship away. Catherine wasn't mad. I drove her to despair. I won't do the same to Harris. It was the first time Stephen verbalized his guilt aloud. Harris asked Lily to teach him to read. She used unconventional methods, adventure stories, acting out scenes. He laughed for the first time, a high, bright sound that stopped servants mid-task. Mrs. Pemberton muttered to the cook, I don't trust it. Happiness doesn't last for boys like him. But Lily noticed Harris sleeping through nights without nightmares, no longer harming himself. Want to know what happens when the Duke's dark secret is finally exposed? When Lily's past catches up with her? Subscribe now, because this story of broken souls finding redemption will shatter you in the best way possible.
Scarlet fever swept through Sussex Village 2 weeks later. Lorchville Manor was quarantined for 14 days. Only the Duke, Harris, Lily, and skeleton staff remained trapped inside. Forced intimacy shattered formal barriers. For the first time, Duke Stephen, Harris, and Lily ate dinner together. Previously, Harris had eaten isolated in his room. Now they sat at the small family table, awkward silence thick between them. Lily broke it. Harris, tell your father about the story we read today. Harris hesitated, glancing at Stephen nervously. It was about a boy who thought he was invisible. Stephen listened, truly listened, for the first time in months. His son's voice, tentative but growing stronger, filled the dining room. Harris stopped mid-sentence, surprised. You're not leaving. Usually you leave when I talk. Stephen's throat tightened. I'm not leaving. Not anymore. Days later, Harris showed Lily his mother's abandoned greenhouse. Overgrown with wild roses, glass panels broken. It was hauntingly beautiful. Mother spent hours here. Father hated it, said she was neglecting her duties. Lily found Catherine's journal hidden in the potting shed. The entries were intimate, devastating. Loneliness, Stephen's cruelty, desperate love for Harris. The final entry, written the day before her suicide, made Lily's hands shake. I've failed my son by staying too long in a marriage that's killing me. I'm failing him by wanting to leave. There's no right choice. Harris asked directly one evening, Why did you become a nun? Did you always want to? Lily chose honesty. No. Something bad happened when I was young. I thought if I could be holy enough, pure enough, it would erase what happened. Did it work? No. You can't erase the past. You can only learn to carry it differently. What happened to you? A man hurt me, and people said it was my fault. Harris understood beyond his years. Like people say mother's death is my fault. Yes, exactly like that. They sat in mutual recognition of unjust blame. Late that night, Stephen found Lily reading in the library. Drunk enough to be honest, he confessed everything. The affairs, the public humiliation, having Catherine declared mentally unfit. The night she died, she'd overheard me promising Judith we'd marry once Catherine was dealt with. 3 hours later, she jumped. Lily's voice was controlled but horrified. "And you blamed Harris." "Easier than blaming myself. If he was the monster, I didn't have to be." "You need to tell him that. All of it." "He'll hate me." "He already does. But at least he'll know why and that it's not his fault." In the greenhouse, Stephen knelt before his son. "I failed your mother. I failed you. And I'm sorry." Harris, guarded. "Mother said sorry doesn't fix things." She was right. But it's where fixing things starts. First honest conversation between father and son in 9 months. Harris didn't forgive, but didn't run away either. Small progress, hard won.
6 months passed. Harris thrived, reading fluently, sleeping peacefully, laughing with servants. The transformation seemed miraculous. One evening, he asked Lily directly, "Tell me the whole story about what happened to you." She told everything. Thomas Hartwell's assault in the warehouse, the dock workers' rescue, Boston Society's judgment, the near expulsion from the convent. They said I tempted him, that good girls don't end up in situations like that. Harris's face flushed with fury. "That's not fair. You didn't do anything wrong." "No, but it took me 7 years to believe that." Lily shared Catherine's journal with Stephen, with Harris's permission. They read together Catherine's deteriorating mental state, Stephen's escalating cruelty, her suffocating isolation. One entry about a pregnancy stopped them cold. "Stephen hasn't touched me in months, except in anger. This baby feels like my last chance to matter." The stillbirth entry shattered Stephen. Lost the baby. Stephen didn't even come to the bedroom. Sent flowers with his secretary. "I'm utterly alone." Catherine's final weeks detailed her suicide plan, her guilt about leaving Harris, but her conviction that staying alive in such pain was failing him more. Stephen broke completely. "I was drowning, and I handed her stones." Meanwhile, a private investigator hired by the Dowager Duchess to discredit Lily uncovered something else entirely. Judith O'Reilly's past. Former actress, married twice before, both husbands mysteriously dead. Suspicious but unproven, she'd systematically positioned herself to become Duchess, viewing Catherine as an obstacle. Evidence suggested Judith had encouraged Stephen's worst behaviors, isolated Catherine socially, accelerated her descent. Stephen read the report with dawning horror. "My God, I've been manipulated." Lily's response was firm. "You made your own choices. Don't blame her for your cruelty." "But she exploited it." "Yes, and now you know. What will you do?" Harris overheard them discussing Catherine's journal. He confronted his father with volcanic rage. "You killed her, not me. You." Stephen didn't deny it. "Yes, I did." "Why? Why did you hurt her?" "Because I was selfish, cruel, and couldn't see past my own desires. I destroyed the person who loved me most." Harris crying, "I hate you." "I know. I hate myself too. But Sister Lily says hate is just hurt that doesn't know where to go." "She's right. So where does my hurt go?" "Wherever you needed to. I'll wait." A letter arrived from Mother Superior. Church investigation initiated into Lily's methods, specifically her sharing personal trauma with a child. She must choose, return to Boston for ecclesiastical review, or stay and risk defrocking. Harris panicked. "You're leaving?" "I don't know what to do." "Stephen, stay. We need you." "If I stay and lose my vows, I have nothing. No identity, no home." Harris's simple truth changed everything. "You have us." Lily wrote to Mother Superior, "I'm staying.
If that means leaving the order, so be it. She removed her habit for the first time in 7 years, wearing a simple gray dress. Harris stared. "You look different. I feel different, lighter." "Are you scared?" "Terrified, but less scared than I was hiding."
Lily, no longer in her habit, established a new life at the manor. She taught Harris, consulted with Stephen on estate matters, became integral to their daily rhythms. Harris called her Lily instead of sister, marking the shift from formal relationship to family. They planted roses together in Catherine's greenhouse for Mother, so something beautiful grows from where she was sad. Brake offered his relationship with Judith. "I won't repeat my mistakes. You exploited my worst self." Judith's venomous response came swift. "You'll regret this. That American pretender has bewitched you and your son. She's shown me what I should have been all along, present, accountable, human." Judith stormed out, already plotting revenge. The local vicar visited weeks later, shocked by Harris's transformation. "I'd heard the boy was beyond redemption." Harris, confident now, "I was never broken, just hurt, and people kept treating hurt like it was the same as broken." The vicar turned to Stephen, amazed. "Whatever you're doing, it's working miracles." "It's not miracles, it's truth, time, and someone who refused to give up." Evening routines solidified. Stephen, Lily, and Harris eat dinner together, read together, talked together. The manor felt alive again. One night, Harris asked, "Are we a family now?" Long pause. Stephen looked at Lily. "I'd like to think so, if Lily agrees." Lily chose her words carefully. "Families don't require blood. They require choice. I choose this." "Me too," Harris said immediately. "Then yes, we're a family. Not romantic between the adults, but a deep platonic bond forged in shared healing." Word spread to London. "Duke's son healed by ex-nun. Duke shuns mistress. Unconventional household." The Dowager Duchess arrived furious. "This arrangement is scandalous. Lily living here unmarried, no chaperone." Stephen's response was final. "She's Harris's governess and my friend. If society can't accept that, society can stay in London." "You're ruining the family name." "I already did that when I drove Catherine to suicide. This is me trying to rebuild it." Everything felt peaceful, healing, too perfect. Lily confessed to Stephen one evening, "I keep waiting for disaster." "Why?" "Because happiness terrifies me more than pain. Pain I know how to survive." Maybe it's time to learn how to survive happiness. That same night, in a London parlor, Judith O'Reilly met with her private investigator. Her smile was cold, calculated. "I want everything on Lily Davidson, the assault, the convent scandal, every sordid detail. I want her destroyed so completely that even the Duke won't dare defend her." The investigator nodded, already compiling the file that would shatter their fragile peace. This family is about to face their greatest test yet, and what happens next will leave you speechless. Subscribe now so you don't miss the explosive confrontation that tears everything apart and the shocking redemption that follows. Trust me, you need to see how this ends.
Spring 1888. Stephen hosted a parliamentary dinner at the London townhouse, political obligations he couldn't avoid. Harris, now confident and poised, attended his first public appearance since Catherine's death. Lily accompanied them as governess, unconventional but grudgingly accepted by society. Mid-dinner, Judith arrived uninvited, claiming urgent documents. As dessert was served, she stood abruptly. "Your Grace, I must inform you this woman is a fraud." The table fell silent. Judith produced the investigator's report with theatrical precision. Lily Davidson, 1882, found in compromising circumstances with merchant Thomas Hartwell. She read fabricated details out loud. The convent covered up her moral turpitude, shipped her to England to avoid scandal. Gasps rippled through the dining room. The archbishop sat 3 seats away. "She's no virgin nun. She's a fallen woman corrupting your son with her shameful past." The archbishop demanded explanation. Lily stood, voice shaking but clear. "Thomas Hartwell attacked me. I fought him.
He claimed I seduced him because I refused to marry him and legitimize his violence. Convenient story, Judith sneered. Why didn't you report it? I did, to the police, to the convent. Hartwell was wealthy, connected. I was a 19-year-old girl with no family. Who do you think they believed? The Archbishop's voice was stern. Why didn't you disclose this when accepting the assignment? Because I thought my past didn't matter if I could help Harris. I was wrong to hide it. Stephen rose, his voice carrying across the stunned room. This woman saved my son when every respectable professional failed. If her past disqualifies her, then I'm equally disqualified for fatherhood. I drove my wife to suicide. Shocked silence. Where was propriety when I needed intervention for my cruelty? Lily did what none of you dared, loved an unloved child. The Archbishop tried to interject. Your Grace, we must consider this. She's staying. If that offends your sensibilities, don't accept my future invitations. After the guests departed in scandalized whispers, Harris found Lily packing in her room. You're leaving? The church is demanding my removal. I won't let scandal touch you. I don't care about scandal. You're the only person who ever saw me as human. Lily, you told me hurt people don't abandon each other. Were you lying? No, but sometimes protecting people means leaving. That's what my mother said before she jumped. The devastating parallel struck like lightning. Harris bolted into the stormy night. Lily realized where he'd gone. St. Mary's Chapel ruins, where Catherine was buried. She raced through rain and darkness. She found him in the flooding crypt, water to his chest, clinging to Catherine's monument. Let me stay with her. Everyone leaves anyway. Lily waded in. Your mother made a terrible mistake. She was sick and couldn't see how much you needed her. They both went under. She pulled him up, gasping. You're the reason I remember how to hope. I love you. You love me? Yes. God help me, yes. She dragged him to safety. Both collapsed on the chapel steps. Stephen arrived moments later, drenched and terrified. Don't ever do that again, either of you. We stay together.
The church convened court in London within the week. Archbishop presiding, Mother Superior testifying, Judith watching from the gallery with vindictive satisfaction. Charges: moral deception, inappropriate attachment to the child, teaching secular values over Christian doctrine. Judith testified first, her voice dripping false concern. The boy won't eat without her present, won't sleep unless she's nearby. It's unnatural dependency, not healing. Dr. Thornton, the original physician, took the stand. My treatments were medically sound, based on established Victorian practice. She undermined proper discipline with dangerous permissiveness. Society witnesses followed, one after another. Allowing a fallen woman near a child of noble blood is unconscionable. The Duke has been bewitched by this American charlatan. Then Mother Superior stood, and the courtroom tensed. Lily Davidson was assaulted by Thomas Hartwell. Our failure to protect her was institutional sin, not hers. I sent her to England because I knew her strength would be needed there. She didn't fail her vows. We failed her. Duke Stephen was sworn in next. His testimony was unflinching. My son was dying, emotionally, spiritually. She didn't create dependency. She created hope. She showed him how to survive devastating loss because she'd survived it herself. He dropped his full confession, every detail of how he destroyed Catherine, drove her to suicide, blamed Harris to avoid his own guilt. If anyone should be on trial, it's me. Lily did what I was too cowardly to do. She loved my son when he was unlovable. Harris asked to testify. The court allowed it, unprecedented for a child. His small voice carried through the silent chamber. Sister Lily told me my mother's death wasn't my fault. No one else said that. Everyone looked at me like I was a monster. She looked at me like I was a person. His eyes filled with tears. She's the only reason I'm still alive. If you take her away, I'll go back to that dark place.
and next time I won't come out." Raw childhood honesty no one could deny. Lily stood for her final statement. "I've violated protocol by hiding my assault. I apologize for deception, not for my work. The church taught me purity was my value. Thomas Hartwell stole that. But Harris taught me my value isn't in what was taken, it's in what I choose to give." She removed her habit and rosary, placing them on the witness stand. "I'm not asking to remain in the order. I'm asking permission to continue loving a child who needs me. If that requires leaving my vows, I'll do it." Literal shedding of her old identity. The Archbishop, visibly moved, delivered his verdict. "This court acknowledges protocol violations. However, your intentions and outcomes speak to extraordinary grace. You're released from your vows with honor. The church won't oppose your continued work with Harris Spencer." Judith stormed out, defeated. Lily turned to Stephen and Harris. "I'm no longer sister, just Lily." Harris smiled through tears. "Good. Sisters are supposed to be holy. You're better. You're real." That evening, Stephen made an offer. "Catherine left £50,000 in dowry. It reverted to me when she died. I want you to have it." "I can't." "Use it however you see fit. Build something. Help others like Harris." "Why?" "Because it's what Catherine would have wanted, and because you've given me back my son."
1 year later, 1889. Brighton seaside, where Saltaire met hope. Catherine's Haven opened its doors, a converted estate now refuge for traumatized children. Opening day brought 7 arrivals: a boy beaten by his father, a girl sold to a factory, orphaned siblings clinging to each other. Lily, 27 now, in simple dress with hair loosely bound, welcomed them at the entrance. "You're here because someone failed you. I won't promise to fix you. You're not broken. You're wounded, and wounds can heal." The main room glowed warm. Soft rugs, painted murals Harris had designed, a fireplace that never went cold. Lily addressed her staff, a mix of former governesses and trauma survivors. "We don't use restraints, ice baths, or isolation. We use presence, truth, and patience." A boy with a scarred face, age 8, challenged her immediately. "Why should we trust you?" "Because I've been where you are. Someone hurt me, and people said I was ruined. I'm not ruined. Neither are you." 6 months in, 23 children were housed. 3 satellite locations opened in London, Manchester, and Liverpool. Duke Stephen funded the expansion, volunteering as administrator. "I'm learning accountability by helping heal what I once would have ignored." Harris, now 11 and healthy, spent weekends teaching younger children. He found a new boy hiding under a bed, trembling. "I used to hide too. Then someone found me who didn't try to fix me, just sat until I was ready to come out." 2 years after opening, over 400 children had passed through Catherine's Haven. A memorial garden bloomed behind the Brighton location, each flower representing a child. Lily and Harris planted roses together, red for courage, white for remembrance. "Do you ever regret leaving the convent?" Harris asked. "No. I thought vows would give me purpose. This work gives me purpose." "Do you think my mother would be proud?" "I think she'd be grateful. We're honoring her by helping children like you." Stephen approached with news. "London location wants to double capacity, need more funding." Lily smiled. "Ask Parliament. Tell them it's cheaper to heal children than imprison them later." No romance between them, but deep platonic love forged in shared healing. That evening, Lily walked the garden alone, remembering the terrified girl who took vows to hide, the nun who arrived at Lorchfeld expecting to fail. Her voiceover whispered across the scene. "I came to England thinking I'd save a child. Instead, he saved me. Showed me survival isn't the same as living." Final scene, Stephen, Lily, and Harris planting a new garden section together. "Are we still a family, even though everything's changed?" Harris asked. Stephen smiled. "Especially because everything has changed. Families aren't about staying the same, they're about growing together." Lily added softly, "We're not the family any of us imagined. We're better. We're the family we chose." Camera pulled back, showing the full haven, children playing, staff teaching, hope made visible. Lily's final voiceover. "They said I was fallen. They said Harris was broken. They said Stephen was irredeemable. They were wrong. We weren't fallen, broken, or irredeemable. We were just waiting for someone to see us clearly and refuse to look away." Final image, Catherine's portrait in the Haven's entrance hall. Inscription beneath. Catherine Spencer, 1850 to 1887. Her pain was not in vain. Epilogue text appeared. Catherine's Haven operated until 1923, helping over 10,000 traumatized children. Lily Davidson never remarried. Harris Spencer became a physician specializing in childhood trauma. Duke Stephen Newsom spent his remaining years funding social reform. In 1891, Lily's assault case was reopened. Thomas Hartwell was finally convicted. The three remained family, imperfect, unconventional, and real until Stephen's death in 1902. Sometimes the most broken souls build the most beautiful things. If this story of redemption, chosen family, and refusing to look away moved you, subscribe for more untold historical stories that prove love isn't about perfection, it's about showing up. More stories coming soon.
If you enjoyed this story, we appreciate you a whole lot and look forward to connecting with you as we build a community on this channel. Every day, we will put out more stories, so we need your support. Help us by liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel if you haven't already. You won't miss any new exciting videos. Check out the next video. You'll love it.